Hello and welcome to the Overwhelm is Optional podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Mark, and as a self-proclaimed ambassador for ease, my mission is to bring you more ease into your life, getting you out of the horrid fog of overwhelm and living the life you always meant to.
On this week's episode, I'm so excited. I'm always excited, but I'm really excited because we have Lexie Wrightson, who's an intuitive healer, a reiki master, a spiritual mentor, and a maven. She gives you the tools to learn to take time for yourself, achieve your goals whilst discovering more about yourself. She's one of my favourite people. Her energy is particularly lovely, I have to say. And yeah, welcome, Lexie. Such a delight to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
No, it's seriously exciting. So can we just start by you telling us a little bit about your own adventures in overwhelm?
Where would you like me to start?
Wherever feels nice.
My adventures in overwhelm actually started in a quite dark place, actually. So at 27, I got married. Big wedding, lots of expectations. And unfortunately, by the time I was 30, my 30th birthday, it was, let's just say, not all a bed of roses, and everything was going on for me. I was in overwhelm. I was expecting to be a great wife, great housewife. I had a burgeoning career. I was rising through the ranks. I was in the rail industry. I was really becoming known in the company, really pushing forward. And suddenly I faced this great big hole of despair. I had a whole career going on. I had expectations on me. I was like, what do I do? And I went into this incredibly dark place. In such a dark place that I couldn't actually share it with anybody. And I was in classic overwhelm, so much going on. And what did I do to get myself out of that hole? So I spent 6 months, so the first 6 months of being 30 in my 30s, pulling myself out of this hole. Through journaling, I started to have spiritual experiences. So I went to a healer in York who dealt predominantly in angelic reiki. Never heard of it. Just naturally drawn to it. And I spent sessions with her, really understanding what's going on with my energy, what's going on with my spirit. And that brought me back into a place of balance where I could then start to journal out what I really wanted in life and what was going to make me happy. And it's quite easy to talk about now, but it was such a dark place that overwhelm it was incredible. But by using this healing, by healing myself through journaling, I got to a place in the July. So my birthday was in the March, by the July, where I was stronger. I was really clear about what I wanted and who I was. And I'd actually realised that I wasn't the person that I was in my early 20s. And I'd slipped back into this place of really playing it small. So I put my big girl pants on. I ended my marriage, and I'd like to say I walked out of the house, but we ended up living together for another 9 months. So that was a whole other layer of overwhelm. I threw myself into my yoga practice. I threw myself into my meditation practice. So when I was 15, I had learned to do transcendental meditation. Completely forgotten about it. And I just started to remember my mantra that you were given, just started to get back into that meditation space of just clearing my mind and just doing it for just 5 minutes every day. It was really starting to help me. Yoga massively helped me getting onto my mat, allowing myself to have a holiday for just an hour and a half with my teacher, and just taking my body to places that it had never been before. I'm very much a person that when I'm in overwhelm, I push my body physically, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it creates a space in my head whereby, I've done something, I've achieved something. I'm in a better space to be physically more adept and able to face challenges. So big girl pants went on. I then allowed myself to really flow with the universe and get in tune with who I was and what I should be doing. Fast forward a few months to a trip to Glastonbury, and the most amazing reading I've ever had. Walked in the room and the lady goes, "Well, you're a healer, and what are you going to do about it?" And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Wasn't quite what I was expecting for the reading. I was expecting, your husband's going to be fine. You're going to get divorced. You'll meet a nice person. It's like, no, you're a healer. This is what you're doing. Go and buy this book. Go and buy this crystal, and come back to me in a few years' time. I was utterly stunned, and that put me into a different space of overwhelm. This kind of massive potential of what could be done. So
Scared?
yes, but intuitively I knew it was the right thing. So when I was a small child, I had an imaginary dog called Simon, who everyone told me was imaginary. And about a year ago, spoke to my mum about it. She goes, well, I'm not entirely sure it was imaginary. You might have been able to see it. I was like, it was just like, oh, okay. So a little part of me has always been fascinated with fairies, ghosts, goblins, pixies, angels. Anything slightly esoteric has always fascinated me. So yeah, I was really, really scared, but that put me in a place of dark despair, overwhelm, to, oh my gosh, look at the universe. Wow, overwhelm. What am I going to do about it? So I went from two complete extremes, but now I've always stayed in this extreme of, wow, look at this universe. I'm overwhelmed by it, but I'm so joyful about it because it's all there for the taking, and I can pick and choose what and who I want to be and how I want to do it. It's like having this huge spiritual buffet, and you're not overwhelmed because you can try a bit, and if you don't like it, you can try another bit. It's fascinating.
I really like the way you've described being overwhelmed by kind of opportunity versus this kind of fog and darkness, which I'm referring to as an overwhelm that we don't want, where we feel stuck, where we can't see. So can you just I'd really like you to kind of expand on the differences, because your story is really dramatic in terms of moving from one to the other.
Yeah, so overwhelm the darkness for me is not being able to see any further forward than literally your hands in front of your face. Everything is going on. The expectation that you put on yourself is double, triple the expectation that anyone else has on you, because let's face it, they're just moving through the mud in the same way. And I think as women, we put huge expectations on ourselves to be the perfect wife, girlfriend, mother, sister, daughter. On top of that, oh yeah, we must do all the housework. We must have a fantastic, amazing career. We must. And we pile all that on ourselves, plus other people's expectations on ourselves. So I have dealt with quite a few narcissistic personality during my lifetime. Their anticipation of what they expect from you is huge. So it just kind of piles on. It's almost like it's like the princess in the pea. You're the pea at the bottom of the bed, and everything is just being piled on top of you. And then at some point, someone lays on the bed, and it's like, boom, squash. That's it. And it's how you remove those layers to get yourself into a place of overwhelm of opportunity. And that's where the deep personal work really comes in, because it's like you're an onion. Taking the vegetable analogy a bit further, you're the center of the onion, this pea, and you're literally peeling each layer away. And I am by no means the perfect middle of the onion at the moment, because I'm still peeling away layers, because you get so far on your journey, you think, oh, I'm there, I'm absolutely, oh no, I'm not there, okay, let's peel another layer away. Oh yeah, I'm there. Oh no, we're just going to peel another 2 layers away. So it's constant work, constantly trying to evolve to be the best that you can. And the way that I removed these layers was to really have a serious talking to myself. I was in a position where I couldn't share this with anyone. There were no resources, particularly. I was living a lie. And I was happy and smiley at work and coming home and literally sobbing into my pillow every night. So I talked to myself. I got out my journal and I just started writing. And the more I wrote, the more clearer it became that actually a lot of this was my ego talking, and a lot of it, other people didn't have all these expectations on me. So I'm a constant work in progress, peeling away all these layers. But as I've peeled away these layers, I've now got to this amazing place, and it's a place that I only describe as utter joy and bliss. And I'm not there all the time, by the way. You do slip back into overwhelm and despair. But I can talk to you and say, actually, I've been in this place. I've stood at the edge of the cliff and kind of peered over and gone, oh gosh, I don't want to jump. But I also stood at the edge of the cliff and I've jumped over to the other side and gone, wow, look at everything that's there for us. And I hate to say it's all about a positive mindset and a positive attitude, but if you know you can get to the other side, and you've seen people get to the other side, which I have as well, I had other people and read books, I've seen these people get to the other side, you can do. So whatever trial and tribulations on your path to get to the other side, you can do it regardless. Absolutely. However you decide to do it. And then suddenly you're standing, you can turn around and look back to where everything's going, and now you look forward, you see all these huge opportunities in front of you, because my belief is we are a divine being here having a human experience. So if we're part of the divine, then we can have a divine experience here. And yes, as we journey along to this place of overwhelm of happiness, we will have the odd pool of dark despair, but it's having the tools to pull out of your toolkit and go, okay, I'm getting into that mindset now. I need to meditate. I need to journal. I need to phone a friend. I need to go on my yoga mat. I need to go for a run. It's having that toolkit, and you can pull out of that toolkit exactly what you need when you need it.
Wow.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Yeah. I'm really thinking about, there's a lot of similarities in our journey, which isn't surprising, as we are both trained in the Zen yoga tradition with Daisen Rishi, a huge privilege. But we also have different ways of doing things. And I'd really like to know, I mean, there's so many ways we could take this. It's so exciting. There's one thing I do want to touch on before, and as we go into how you work now, because I know you're doing a lot of really exciting things at the moment. For me, part of that taking off those layers has been really speeded up, quite painfully at times, by the process of becoming an entrepreneur, an online entrepreneur in particular, with a personal brand where you have to allow yourself to be seen. And this allowing myself to be seen so I can find the people I can help and work with, it's not something, I don't like being the center of attention. I'm an introvert. I have no reason for that. You know, I'm quite comfortable being in the background, but actually embracing this online space and all of these opportunities to reach people means that I have had to really practice deep self-acceptance on my journey as an online entrepreneur. And I'm kind of relating it and thinking of myself as a Zenpreneur, you know?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so this taking off these layers is necessary in order to get really clear about what our mission is and who we're trying to help, and to be visible online in an authentic way and really connect. So I'm just wondering whether you can relate to that at all.
100%. As you well know, I really struggle to be the center of attention. And you know, I used to give presentations at work, and I knew my stuff, and I would be there. I could talk to you about railhead interface. I could talk to you about trains for hours, but that's because I knew my stuff. I would become an expert in my field, and it was academic. To step out as a female entrepreneur online, it's like someone is just kicked you in the stomach, and you double over and go, oh, but there's so many other people doing this. What makes me stand out?
Yeah,
who am I? Why am I any different? You know, I've made a mistake, and this is the real difference. Whereas as a maven, we are known as experts in our field.
Please tell me what a maven is.
A maven, mavens are so exciting. So I'm part of a female online entrepreneurship club called the Salford Social Hub, and we call ourselves mavens. We are the experts in our field in whatever we choose to do.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't it great? And we all, you know, we just call each other mavens, and it gives you that sense of you're not alone. You know, we are a group of incredibly strong female who are leaders in their field of doing different things. So we have lawyers, accountants, marketers, healers, yoga teachers, people who are into essential oils, all sorts of people, you know, people who lifestyle, everything. We're all there in one group.
I love that.
And we're all experts in whatever we do. And that has really gone to help me and to show you as well that we are experts in our field. There is no other person doing the same business as we're doing. We are both offering something unique. And being a Zen entrepreneur, we've got this amazing background that very few people in this country have. We are incredibly privileged to work with Daisen and to learn from his teaching, and then to be able to take it for ourselves and then turn it. And for me particularly, I've turned it into looking at the Zen world, which is very male dominated. It's very rigid. The yoga is all about angles, to softening it to allow the divine feminine to come in, so that we're still maintaining that grounded Zen space, but we're adding a little bit of grace and a little bit of beauty into it, so that our yoga particularly is slightly more fluid in the way that we move, and that we're softer in our approach and not beating ourselves up all the time. So that's how I've taken this kind of Zen-trepreneur and taken it forward. I love that word. But yeah, it's difficult. we are experts in our fields, but we get that little bit of niggle from our ego, from our our repressed female self as well. If you think about, females have been repressed for 2,000, maybe even 3,000 years. We're being put in our box. We can't be leaders. Suddenly we're now being asked to step out as leaders, and we are the ones who will trailblaze it going forward. So yes, you had all the people like our mums, the glass ceiling breakers. They're on the board, they're doing this, they're leading their companies, but they're leading their companies in a very male environment,
and
where
they're
being asked,
striving and breaking themselves. That's what I see women doing, is this, and in the entrepreneurial world as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an easier way, I think.
I totally agree, and I have actually watched my mum push herself to the nth degree and then leave her job because that was it. She burnt out, simply as that. And one of my key rules, even when I was in my corporate role, is I will never ever let myself burn out. So it's about understanding your own energy as an entrepreneur, knowing when to have a holiday. And that for me has been the hardest thing, because you're just constantly wanting to push. And actually the best things often happen when you're on holiday and your business just kind of runs itself. And you come back to all these emails of, oh, so-and-so signed up for your newsletter. Oh, so-and-so subscribed to your online community. You're like, oh, okay. So I've put all that energy out there, and then I've let that energy disperse and filter through into people to collect the right people. But the more you push it, the less you attract to yourself. So
interesting. I think it's fascinating watching us as Zen yoga teachers going out into the world and creating different things. So when I was, as you know, I had Dyson on my podcast the other day, and he was talking about the people who come to me coming into my energy, and I just found that a really fascinating thing, that we each just go out and we bring all of our uniqueness. And as you say, we're all doing something very unique. And so what you're doing is different from what I'm doing, even though there might be some similarities. And that having the courage to recognize that, to stand up and say, hey, I'm over here and I can help you if blah, 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 I think is so important. And it's also, it's part of that journey that you're talking about with the onion, of the letting go, of the peeling away. And what really makes me laugh is the question, who am I, is a Zen koan. And here we are in the online space going, who am I to be doing this? And it's like working a Zen koan by accident every single day. It really without fail. Who am I to be doing this? Well, good question.
And who am I to do this when so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing that? Who am I? And then you're still there typing away on Instagram, and then you'll post it and you go, but who am I? And it's you're having this constant koan meditation in yourself, both in your physical presence in your home, because we've changed as well since we've both done our teacher training. We've changed, really changed. And then we're doing it on the online space. Well, who am I? We're still exploring. It's a fascinating place to be. And
it's fascinating.
We will never stop learning and asking who we are.
No, it's fascinating, and it's both terrifying and overwhelming, and extremely excitingly overwhelming. And for me, it's been about learning to negotiate that, learning to watch my mind with its crazy stories about, well, you could make a fool of yourself. You look really stupid. Who do you think you are? You're not going to be successful. Actually, I never get the you're not going to be successful. That's quite interesting for me. I never get that. I just get the deep fear of looking like an idiot. That's all I really get. And that's nothing really, is it? Come on. That's not life-threatening. What's wrong with
at all? And I think where I struggle is often I compare myself to other female entrepreneurs that I really respect, other female authors that I really respect. Yeah. There are several, and you think, oh, but they've done this and they've done that, and I'm never going to be published by Hay House. Well, of course I am. Yeah. I'm going to be better than that. And that's not from an ego. That's I have the gifts and I'm going to share them. And I'm a big believer, just going back to a comment you made earlier, is that the energy you put out is the energy that you attract back in. And it's a very hippie saying, but your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
And to me, having a tribe of loving and supporting people around you who are learning and you're giving to is far more important than having 6 million Instagram followers who just like your post because you're a bit pretty. That sounds a bit derogatory, but it's that kind of, you want quality. quality and purpose that you're really making a change in someone's life than just influencing because of whatever you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. So tell us more about what you do, because I know that you are up to something exciting again, and I'm fascinated to know. I feel like since I last spoke to you, there's been another leap, and I'm really excited to know.
So there has. So I have been very, very lucky. I work with a lady called Kate Taylor, who does a Practical Magic podcast. So she now is my coach, and her energy has really filled me with a huge amount of mojo to take my business forward once again. So just a bit of background, I gave up my corporate career on the 6th of April this year. So 2 weeks after lockdown, that's it, bang, straight out of the work. What am I going to do? So straight away took any yoga teaching online. That really has been a godsend. So what do I do? So essentially, I am a healer. So in this crazy world of lockdown, it's been quite difficult to see people, but I've been doing a lot of distant work and really working with people to move their blocks, to give them a sense of grounding, a sense of balance. And I love working distant healing. It's just super. We can arrange a time where you can lie down, or we can do it overnight. And the emails you get back from people saying, "Oh, I feel really grounded. I feel really energized." It just spurs you on to keep wanting to help people. So
I'll have to stop you there for a moment, because although there's actually been quite a lot of research on this recently, there'll be a lot of people listening thinking, hippie nonsense. This is too woo-woo for me.
Try it.
What would you say to them?
I would say, have a go. Try it. Why do you have the perception that it's too hippie and too woo? Why can't it work? If we are all energy and the whole planet is energy, we then as energy can move and shift energy between time and space. It goes a little bit into quantum physics here. So why can't I send you a good thought to heal you, or send you the energy to heal you? The interesting thing is, a lot of people pray and they ask for someone to be healed. They ask for something. What's the difference between me sending you the healing energy than you praying and asking for the healing energy?
Ooh, there's a challenge for you.
There's a challenge. But I would say to anyone who thinks it's really hippy-dippy, try it. Give it a go. And what's the worst that can happen is you have a lie down for half an hour and a jolly good nap and feel waking much more positive.
Love it. So tell us more about your work.
So healing, I teach Zen yoga as well, which I absolutely adore, and that for me is my grounding place to be on the mat. I am also the founder of a rather super online community. I know you have one, but mine, they're both utterly super. It's called the Soul Sister Community. You can find us on Instagram, and we are a group of women. So I adore working with women. I've been in such a male-dominated environment that actually it's really nice to come back and be closeted and really enjoy that feminine energy. So it's a community for women, and we meet every new moon and every full moon. And we are a lunar community, so to speak. So we share our ups and downs of life. We have a group healing session once a month, which I send them the distant reiki. It's for those who think we're all hippies, probably. We meet once a month as well, and we have a really chilled out yoga session just to stretch, to really enjoy ourselves. It's just before bedtime as well, which is all really, really nice, so you can kind of come in your PJs. But essentially we're an online community for people who want to make changes in their life, who want to work with the moon, but also work in a more intuitive space, to work with nature, to work with the seasons, to work with the cycles. Like we do in Zen Yoga, we work with the seasons. So in our community, we work with the seasons. We work with where we are in our moon cycle, the lunar cycle, but we also work where we are in our menstrual cycle as well. So these two can be different, but we really start to honour our bodies and know what we need to do and plan our lives accordingly. So if we know we have to do something on full moon, we throw all our energy into that. We know as the moon starts to wane, or our energy is starting to get really slow, we just take it down. And then, you just enjoy that time for yourself. So that's what we do in our community. It's a fascinatingly brilliant community. It's full of the most delightful women. I have been so honoured to meet them. And due to lockdown, there's 2 of them I haven't actually met yet. So I'm just uber excited when we actually get to meet physically in person, which we will do as well. So this all goes on to further. We'll have moon circles. They will always be online, but we'll have physical retreats, days away. We're going to start a supper club as well, so we're going to move around the country, depending on where people live, to go and have supper together as well. So I'm utterly brilliantly excited about my community.
I can see that you're utterly brilliantly excited. I'm not surprised.
And then next year is the big thing that I am now currently planning. So I will be taking through several wonderful, beautiful, divine goddesses through a 12-month journey of mentorship. So where they can go from a place of, I'm not really sure who I am, I'm on this spiritual journey, I don't know where I'm going to go. And I'm going to, throughout the 12 months, introduce them to different aspects of the divine feminine to allow them to really stand up and to be bold, to be bright, and to find that they're inner warrior. So our inner warrior doesn't have to be all about aggression. It doesn't have to all be about fighting. It's that inner strength. And if you look at any woman you know, look at her life, it's never easy, is it? We've all got our own trials and tribulations, and it's how we can stand up into that grounded warrior power with a zen-like mind, but strong determination to be and to succeed and to shine and be the divine being that you are.
I think you are describing what I mean by ease, because I don't mean so laid back, you don't do anything, that you're disconnected. I mean quite the opposite. To me, ease is that embodied strength, that being at home in yourself, that being rooted to the ground, that being able to think with clarity, that moving, being deeply aware of your own energies and rhythms, and that deep self-acceptance that comes from knowing who you are. And that I love that you're describing it sounds the same, but you're describing it as a, what was it, divine warrior?
Divine warrior.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Wow.
And it really allows us to step into a space that we as women haven't been able to step into as well. So, we've always got boxes to be put into, and you'll find that society don't like strong women. We find us aggressive. They find us, excuse my French, a bit of a bitch. Insert any word that you want here. They don't like a dominant female. And this is not about being dominant and about being aggressive. It's about actually owning your own space, owning your own energy, owning your own power, and being empowered to make decisions that are right for you, rather than going with what society expects you to do.
Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah. It's quite interesting as well, because I'm thinking about my community, and that's where, mine is that similar journey of deep self-acceptance, that letting go of the need to push and strive and try really hard and try and better yourself all the time. We're always trying to improve ourselves because we don't fit in.
And I think the most wonderful thing that I was thinking about the other day is we are who we are. Yeah. And there is no other person on the planet as unique as we are. So everybody is unique. So but it takes a long time to accept that you are just this amazing being and you're here to do amazing work.
And we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And because our mind is so conditioned into, we must, get an education, go to work, pay into our pension, retire, die. Really? Is that what life's about?
Yeah. It's always the postponing of happiness in order to, and there's a difference between discipline, which is useful because you've got the structure. So it's a bit like for me, it's like we learn the yoga asanas in order to have that structure. And then we let go of them during our spontaneous practice. But the original discipline, and it's the same with meditation, isn't it? You sit on a cushion for long enough, and then eventually you can walk through your day like that.
Precisely. And everything, for me, if you can walk through your day like that, everything becomes a moving meditation. Yeah. You just enjoy your day. And that's where, for me, you will go through your day with ease, because that's happened. Okay, I feel a little angry. I've expressed that anger in a way that thinks, okay, back to that space. I've had that moment of clarity. Now I can move forward with my day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's the kind of the yoga body, Buddha mind, isn't it? You've got a strong, flexible body, but a cool, calm, rational mind that you can just kind of float through your day with ease.
Yeah. Although Having said that, I'm still incredibly human and likely to fluctuate.
Absolutely.
For me, it's that ability to notice when that's going on. So I'm very fiery. I'm very passionate. I'm feisty.
As am I.
As are you. And that can be a strength when we can harness that rather than allowing it to lash out and push. So for me, it's about, my mind still does the crazy stuff. It still does the, who are you to be doing this? Who do you think you are? You know, you need to be better at that, or you should. The shoulds and the oughts, catching all of that. It's the ability to catch that sneakiness playfully and say, or to recognise that today I'm in a funk. So I'm going to be more kind to myself as I move through my day.
Absolutely. And allowing yourself to feel all the feels as well.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be grumpy. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be joyful. We are human beings. We're having this amazing experience on what we call planet Earth. So we have to be human as well as we want to be these amazing spiritual beings sat in the lotus position, meditating all day. We're human. We have to enjoy that experience. Life is here to learn and to be enjoyed. And it's got a balance between the two.
Love it. So what's your top tips for staying out or getting out of that horrid, foggy darkness of overwhelm where you just feel stuck and you just can't see the wood for the trees, but you know you can't go on like this?
The place I always go to is outside. I am incredibly blessed. I have a garden. So first thing I think about, my head is foggy, I take my shoes and socks off and I go and stand on the grass. And I remember that actually I'm part of this and everything that's going on is just an illusionary part of life. And I have the strength and power to move through that with ease. And this overwhelm is only ever temporary. It's optional to keep it permanent, but it's also temporary. So I always go out into nature. That's my top place to go. If I'm in a real funk, I actually just make a cup of tea and actually watch myself make the cup of tea and sit down and just breathe. Going back to my meditation space always helps me as well, particularly on a morning if my brain fog's already starting. Onto my yoga mat really helps me. But I'm a really keen runner and I do some wild swimming as well. So anything that gets me outside, anything that gets my body moving, gets me out of my head and into my body really helps me. And the particular meditation that I use, which is one from Kundalini Yoga, which is Sa Ta Na Ma, where you move your fingers with each part of the mantra. And that for me just drops me into a space of, okay, life's not that bad. I can get through this. And if all that fails, if you're still in a funk, get your journal out. Journal it all out, express it all through words, and then let it go. So that's how I get out of my funks.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
And I have some spectacular funks. I'm not going to lie.
Me too. But now I'm better able to go, okay, this is a funky day.
Yeah.
It's slightly playful.
Absolutely. It's a slightly funky day, so therefore I will probably need a Kit Kat about 3:00. That's okay.
So, where can people find out more about you and how to work with you?
So people can find out more from me from my website, which is www.lexiewrightson.com. You can find me on Facebook at Lexie Wrightson Wellbeing. I'm also on the Instagram, where you can find me at Lexie Wrightson, and the Soul Sister community, you can find us at the soul.sister.community on Instagram.
Lovely.
So all the information is there, and there's a little handy sign up box for my newsletter, which you can get a free meditation if you wish to activate and reignite your inner light.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Thank you so much, Lexie. It's been amazing. It's been such a pleasure.
No, thank you so much for inviting me on.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast and finding it helpful. If you'd like to know more about how I work as a body mindfulness teacher and coach, you can go to my website, www.heidimark.co.uk, or you can follow me in the usual places, Facebook, Instagram, and more recently, a YouTube channel. You can also book, for a limited amount of time, a free 30-minute coaching call by going to calendly.com/Heidi Heidi-Ease.